Right, so we're gonna start with the NFL previews. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to cruise by these because the NFL season is coming super fast, and I'm gonna have to want to do week one reactions to highlights and whatnot. So let's start right now. This will probably be the only one I get uploaded today, but definitely will be going steroid mode pretty soon, beast mode on it. The Las Vegas Raiders are first. Spin the wheel for NFL teams randomly. This is the first team I got are the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders, they were 8-9 last year, so they had an okay year. Nothing so drastic that was awful, but nothing amazing. So they're still a team that's still trying to create an identity. They're 6-3 at home, 2-6 away. They were 4-2 in their division, and they had 332 points for, with 331 points against. So, um, the points for, I mean, that's pretty good, man. But damn, they allowed a lot of points. So that was weird for them. They were 23rd in the passing yards department, 198.8 yards, passing yards per game. They were almost dead last in rushing, 30th in rushing yards with 90.7. That was tough. I think Josh Jacobs being injured was tough and his down year. When you come to the points for, they were 23rd. They scored 19 and a half points a game. But they were ninth in points against, 19 and a half. So their defense stepped up, I'd say, in a great way. Their offense definitely did not do what they are set to do. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, where did they adjust and how did they overcome what they had to do this off season to get the record that they want? And which is obviously a team that's starving for a title. I mean, you're looking at a team that has not won a Super Bowl in a long time since the '80s. They got two or three under their belt, but again, this is all in the '80s, man. So this is like it's a team that's wanting to win. It's wanting to get better. And I mean, all you can do really is they have to move forward. They have to get great draft picks, which they have had a weird foundation of doing. Um, and I mean, they just gotta step it up, dude. At the end of the day, in terms of being competitive, I think their issue right now, it's definitely offense, defense for sure. There's some holes, but this is a team that can be progressively a contending team if they make the right moves every year. And it really starts with getting a solid QB1. So let's take a look at the roster. I will make sure to not bore you guys. So I'll be putting on some Raiders highlights from this year. That way you guys are entertained and not bored. But I'll be going through the offensive and the defensive as well as a quick recap of the special teams, kicker, punter, kick returner kind of thing. So let's take a look and dive into the Raiders depth chart right now. Look at the Raiders depth chart, and yeah, there's some great changes on this team that I do believe can be pretty impactful. Definitely some unanswered questions that I got for the team, but I mean, the team's issues and problems can't really be solved through one year. I mean, even the worst teams that turned into the best, including Houston. There's always going to be some type of weakness that every team I feel like has. So, um, but looking at the changes and looking at every year how it is, it's just really fascinating and really nice to see how to break down it. So let's take a look at the offense. They run a three wide receiver, one tight end set. Um, let's go through to start with the offensive line. So at left tackle, we got Colt Miller. I got him as an honorable mention on that position. I think he's improved tremendously every single year since he's been drafted. I think he's a reliable tackle. Definitely can be a guy that can keep stepping it up and hopefully getting into a top 10 list. But I do believe that they have a solid guy there, foundation there. When you look at left guard, I think Jackson Powers Johnson will definitely be. First of all, he's a great draft pick that they got. I mean, fantastic. They're definitely their goal was to improve the offensive line because their rushing attack was super bad, including a passing yard type of offense that just wasn't there, but it happens when you have Aiden O'Connell as a QB when he's just more of a backup kind of guy. Maybe he can prove it later on, but right now he really is just in a backup kind of quarterback. So yeah, Jackson Power Johnson I think will be a huge piece. I think he'll definitely be involved on this team, but again, we're gonna need to see him go through the process of a rookie and learning through veterans, and I think he'll get better as time goes on. But as of right now, they're going to do left guard is going to be the good veteran of Cody Whitehair. He's been a veteran of this league. He played for Chicago for a while. Definitely knows the ins and outs. He's played on every given Sunday. So I think he's a good stepping stone for Jackson Powers Johnson to kind of rotate in terms of snaps and whatnot, and to get even better than where he's at. So again, Whitehair, it's a good veteran. At the center position, they got Andre James, who I put as honorable mention. Another guy that I think definitely is undervalued, underrated. Definitely can be a top 10 center in the league. I definitely believe that he has the capability of, being impactful, and he has been. Just he's super young. He's going to get better with time. I definitely believe I like their center though, a lot better than where I've seen them before at. Right guard, they're going to move Parham from left to right, is what I saw. Dylan Parham was number 6 left guard in the league, so yes, he can ball out. Reliable left guard for him. I do believe Dylan Parham has a lot of potential to continue his success. I do believe he can be a guy that does end up, being higher on the list if the seasons and his ability does get even better, and I do believe in that. So right now, I mean, the offensive line looks a lot better. I mean, it's getting there. Players are just keep improving on their game, and that's always nice to see. The right tackle position is the weakest, and honestly, it's the most unanswered type of issue, and it's Munford. I mean, he's super young, man. He can get better like Cole Miller. I do believe he can, progress. But right now it's just a lot of unanswered. What is he gonna do at that right tackle position? So young, unproven. I mean, we will see. This offensive line though is making strides, and that's always nice to see from our organization. Um, and you're looking at the QB. No, it's not Jimmy G. Aiden O'Connell is a backup for sure. Like the talent level that he has is talent. He's talented enough to be in the league, obviously, right? But I do believe he's more of a backup role, or can learn to be a starter, possibly in the future. But right now, I mean, they signed Gardner Minshew, who is good. He's a solid dude. He's a solid choice. Played in Jacksonville as a backup. And then he was starting some games, with the injuries, and he had a pretty good year, man. So Gardner Minshew, I think, while he's not one of the elite QBs, I do believe he's a good option for him. It's a lot better than where they were at. Um, Now his targets and where his weapons are at. Well, first of all, he's got wide receiver Devontae Adams, who's the third best receiver in the league. No question asked. He's one of the best in the league. And I mean, he does everything super well. Great route runner. Um, the ability of being a touchdown magnet, and just the ability of being a superstar. I think he's fantastic at what he does. Um, the other wide receiver on the other outside, Jacoby Myers has got upside. Definitely, New England Patriot, now Raider. Had a good year that last year. I think, he has the ability of putting up good numbers, decent numbers, and I mean that's always nice to see. Two guys pretty good, and they can make an impact. Yeah, you're looking at their third one is going to be Tucker. He's super young. I think he's unproven. I think he's definitely wanting to be better, and I think he can be. And then at running back, how about Zamir White? There is no Josh Jacobs. He's a Green Bay Packer now. I think Zeus, he's got a lot of power. He's a power running back. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's young. I do believe that he can rush for 1,000+ yards this year. Yeah. On top of that, tight end, the really, really great pick of Brock Bowers. He's looking like he's going to be a superstar in this league. I do believe Gardner Minshew will be using a lot of him. I do believe Brock Bowers will fit really well, and he will come out and be impactful for his team. So that is a great thing to see. On the defensive side of the football, they are running a 4-3 base defense. Um, and you're looking at the four DNs, or the four D linemen that they have. First of all, Max Crosby, who was number 1 on the outside linebacker list. I really believe. Can he be a number one DN? Absolutely. Workhorse, motors always running, just great DN, great swim moves, like fantastic talent. Um, they signed Christian Wilkins, who is the number four ranked D tackle in the league for me. He's also been special. Um, on top of that, D tackle Jenkins, who's a super big veteran. I think he still could be valuable for him. And then the DN Kuntz, who I think has an upside. He's super young. I think he can learn from Max, and I think he can be better. It's not a bad D lineman, not a bad D line, with the exception of Jenkins. I feel like that might slow him down, but again, they can always improve. I think their run defense could improve this year, especially with Wilkins and Crosby. Looking at the linebackers, you got Divine Diablo, who's young, upside, tackling machine. I think he will do a lot of great things for him. I do believe in his potential there. Robert Spillane at the middle linebacker, he was my honorable mention. I think he had a great year this past year. I think he will be pretty valuable. He's maybe not be a future middle linebacker star, but I think he's a good fit for him. And then on the other side, the unproven Masterson. I think Masterson's all right. I really haven't seen much tape of him, so I can't say that I think of him as bad or good. But I mean, again, he's unproven. Can he prove it here? You never know. He has a good chance of doing that. And then you look at the secondary. You're looking at three corners there. You got Jack Jones, who's young, again, young and just trying to get better with his craft. Jacorian Bennett, he was drafted last year. They're giving him a chance to start now at the other corner position. Could be pretty decent, man. Honestly, can be very decent. So you got to look at him towards, his growth. And then the nickel, they're going to have Nate Hobbs, who was an honorable mention. Definitely plays all over the field, physical, not afraid to go for tackles, not afraid to play that fast receiver that you need to cover. So yeah, really good for him. Safety position, I mean, you got Epps, who's unproven, and he did a couple great things in Philly, but again, he's unproven, so we will see what happens with him. And then you got Trayvon Mulrig at the strong, which I think he has an upside. He's still learning, still trying to get better every year. I think he has been. With the special teams being the second best kicker, Daniel Carlson, Mr. Automatic, I do believe that, again, he's pretty valuable to his team. Of course, they're going to score a lot of points because he's going to be able to drill those 50 plus yard field goals. Punter, AJ Cole, he's an elite punter. Great inside the 20s. Just a great leg. And then their kick returner, Tucker, again, a guy that's going to be a slot receiver, but also going to be a kick returner. So I do believe that this depth chart has a lot of questions and a lot of guys that are young and just trying to be better and trying to prove it. But I do believe that there is some quality things that can be better this year, including the D line. I think Crosby and Wilkins is going to be scary. I do believe Devontae is going to be Devontae. I think Brock Bowers will be amazing, and I think Zeus White is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he'll have a great year this year. All right, so we're looking at the Raiders' schedule this year. The green check marks are dubs, they're wins. But I'm going to go through every single game real quick, and then I'll give you my final record for the season that I believe will happen for them. So, week one at LA against the Chargers, they're going to lose that game. There's always Raiders Chargers always have this 1-2 thing where one wins, one loses kind of thing. So they've always had that. They're in LA. I do believe they'll lose. When they go against Baltimore in Baltimore, they will definitely lose. I don't think the Raiders have the firepower they have for that team. I think Baltimore will definitely take that for sure. You look at the Panthers. They're gonna go. They're gonna go back home, play the Panthers. I think they'll win. That's obvious. They're just a better team. Against Cleveland in Las Vegas, I think they'll beat Cleveland in Las Vegas. I do believe that. Utmost confidence in that, honestly. Even though it'll be a good and tough game. Then they're gonna go into Denver. I think they'll win that game. I think they'll ride a three-game win streak there. They'll beat the Broncos. Broncos are super kind of like iffy on where they're at. Um, then play the Steelers in Las Vegas. They'll lose that game. Pittsburgh's just got a better defense, better team. go on the road to LA to play the Rams. Rams are better. I do believe they will lose to the Rams. The Chiefs, it's always a weird thing. They always do get one with the Chiefs. I think they'll get one in Las Vegas against the Chiefs. I think the crowd's going to be loud. I think they always have this intense rivalry. I think they'll beat the Chiefs in Las Vegas. Travel to Cincinnati. I think they'll lose. Just again, they're just not a better team. They're not going to compete. Joe Burrow is going to be healthy, and that's hopefully he can stay that way. They'll be able to beat him. Then they got a bye, so you're looking at 3 wins, and now they have or sorry 4 wins with 5 losses, so 4-5 now. They're gonna go and play Miami in Miami. They're gonna lose. Miami's just a better team, so they're gonna have 4-6 there. Then they'll play Denver. I think they're gonna sweep Denver. I think they're a better team than Denver this year for sure. Go to Kansas City. I think Kansas City, just the crowd, everything about them, and especially when it's starting to get more into the winter months, Kansas City's always going to be dangerous. I definitely believe they will definitely not win that game. Go against Tampa. I think they'll surprise Tampa. I think they'll go in there. They'll beat them. I think their defense is going to come in clutch there, and I think they can score some points. Devontae Adams might carry. Brock Bowers might have a great game. I just believe they can sneak in there and get a victory there. Against the Falcons, playing the Falcons in Vegas, I think they'll beat the Falcons, even though the Falcons roster is pretty loaded defensively. I think they have some question marks, I believe, but I do believe that the Raiders they can get that. Um, Go play Jacksonville. Stay still at home. I think Jacksonville is going to get them that week. I do believe Jacksonville just has the edge by a slight margin. I think the QB is the biggest thing I think I could take away, and I think Trevor Lawrence will do what he does best, and I think he'll manage the game to the point where they can just win that. Go against New Orleans, great defense in New Orleans. They will squeak one by. That's what I truly believe. They will squeak one by, and I mean, it will be honestly who gets the ball and who is getting more third down conversions at that point. I just believe that Gardner Minshew is going to do a good job, lead this ball club, and I think they just have enough to squeak by there. And then they close it out with the Chargers in Las Vegas. I think they'll split that. They'll win this game in Vegas, and their final record is going to be 9-8. So at the end of the year, I do believe this is a 9-8 team. If all things go the way they are planning to go, they do have a pretty tough schedule, man. AFC North, that's tough. NFC South, it goes either way. That could be either way. But yeah, I mean, they got some good teams to play. And I think this could be a really good test for some of the guys that are young and trying to prove themselves. And it'll kind of depict on where the Raiders are going to be at and where they have to improve more. But I do believe they can have a winning record. 9-8 is a good standard for them. One more game, that they are winning, and I think they can progress and hopefully they can be a playoff team again. But it's just a tough schedule, and there's a lot of unanswered questions. I don't want to put them too low and have 7-10, 6-11 kind of thing. I think it's too harsh. But yeah, that's where I'm at, and I think the Raiders. We'll see what happens this year.